Hi, welcome to Fayetteville Public Library's Preschool Story Time. I'm Alyson, and since this upcoming Sunday is Easter, I thought I would share an egg-themed story time with you today. I've got 2 books, and then I'm going to show you how to make a very easy but very pretty paper egg craft. Let's get started. The first book I'm going to read to you today is called The Perfect Nest. Jack the cat gathered together everything he needed and then built the perfect nest, dry and cozy and just the right size. But the nest was not for Jack. With this perfect nest, he'd attract a perfect chicken who would lay a perfect egg, which would make a perfect omelet for a cat like Jack. And soon enough, a chicken came along. Caramba, she cried, a perfect nest. She hopped up and laid a small egg. Then a duck waddled by. Sacre bleu, she cried, the perfect nest. The duck pushed the chicken out, hopped up and laid a medium-sized egg. Then a goose lumbered by. Great balls of fire, she cried, a perfect nest. The goose pushed the duck out, hopped up, and laid a large egg. Jack's mouth began to water. 3 eggs would make 3 omelets. But then the duck leaped onto the goose's back. This is my nest. The chicken flew up onto the duck. No, this is my nest. The 3 cackled and quacked and honked, but each refused to leave the perfect nest. They squished each other for days. Each day, Jack tried to get the birds off the eggs. Fire, fire, he cried. They didn't move. Flood, flood, he cried. They still didn't move. Wolf, wolf, he cried. But the chicken, the duck, and the goose would not move. Can you see who he's dressed up as in that picture? Little Red Riding Hood. Yeah, he's trying everything. Finally, Jack stood before them. You birds are so silly. The next farm over has an even better nest and it's empty. Why doesn't one of you use that nest? An empty nest, cried the chicken, without a goose to sit on my head? Caramba! Sacre bleu, cried the duck. I'm tired of smelling like the chicken. That nest is mine. Great balls of fire, cried the goose, out of my way. And they all flapped away. Alone at last, Jack returned to the nest and peeked inside. He arranged the eggs neatly in a row, small breakfast, medium lunch, and large dinner. Jack's stomach rumbled, but then, crack! The small egg broke open and out popped a wet baby chick, who looked up at Jack and said, Caramba! Hola, mama! Crackety snap! The medium-sized egg broke open and out scrambled a wet baby duck, who looked up at Jack and said, Sacre bleu! Bonjour, maman! Crackety, crackety boom! The largest egg broke open and out stepped a wet baby goose, who looked up at Jack and said, Great balls of fire! Howdy, Ma! Jack stared at the babies. What was he to do? He couldn't make omelets out of them. No way. Dry me, dry me, dry me, cried the soggy baby chick. Feed me, feed me, feed me, cried the hungry baby duck. Play, 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 cried the excited baby goose. They are really cute. Gotta admit it. Jack hid in the barn, but the 3 babies found him. He hid in the woods, but the 3 babies found him. Jack hid under the tractor, but the 3 babies found him and dragged him back to the nest. Sleep, 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 the tired babies finally whispered. Cold, 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 said the shivering babies. Jack scratched his head. Someone had to care for these babies, but there was no one else around. Jack lifted all 3 babies into the nest. Buenas noches, Mama, said the baby chick. Bonne nuit, Mama, said the baby duck. Sweet dreams, Ma, said the baby goose. Then Jack climbed into the nest and the babies fell asleep. That's when he realized this really was the perfect nest. Aw, what a wonderful ending. Yay for Jack. All right, the other book I'm going to read to you that has an egg in it also takes place on a farm, and it's called The Cow That Laid an Egg. Say what? Cows don't lay eggs, do they? Marjorie the cow fell down in the dumps. What's wrong, Marge? Clucked the chicken. She really does look blue, doesn't she? Aw. I don't feel special, said Marjorie. I can't ride bicycles and do handstands like the other cows. I just feel so ordinary. I'm going to have to look for cows doing handstands and riding bicycles next time I drive past a field. That night, the chickens hatched a cunning plan. Cluck, 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 they whispered. What could they be up to? The following morning, there was an almighty commotion in the barnyard. I've laid an egg, shrieked Marjorie. All the other cows were astonished. None of them had ever laid an egg before. Even the farmer came running. Oh my goodness, he cried. Marjorie's laid an egg. The farmer's wife called the local newspaper. People came from far and wide. We're extremely proud of Marjorie, announced the farmer to the crowd. Marjorie felt much more special now, and the chickens were as pleased as Punch, too. You see her pushing the egg in the wheelbarrow? Now, why would those chickens be pleased as Punch? Did they have something to do with this? They sure did. But the other cows weren't so happy. Our bicycle riding and handstands feel rather ordinary now. Something funny is going on. Cows don't lay eggs. Chickens lay eggs. We don't think you laid that egg, the cow said to Marjorie. We think the crafty chickens did it. Marjorie felt shocked. Prove it, said the chickens. How is she gonna do that? So they all waited for the egg to hatch. Day after day they watched as Marjorie sat on the egg to keep it warm, but nothing happened. She knitted, she read a book, and waited and waited. Look at the cows checking on her. Until suddenly one morning they heard a noise. Tap, tap, tap. Here it comes, shouted one of the cows. And as Marjorie stood up, the egg cracked open and out hopped a small brown feathery bundle. There, said one of the cows, nodding, a chicken. Suddenly, though, the tiny creature looked up at Marjorie. Moo, it said loudly. Marjorie smiled and held her baby tight. A cow, she said, and she promptly named it Daisy. Sweet silliness, or silly sweetness. All right, I hope you enjoyed those two books. I really do. The craft I'm going to show you is very simple, and it's like dyeing actual Easter eggs, but it's on paper. So either, you have to eat those hard-boiled eggs, or you have to throw them away after a while because they can get stinky. But with paper eggs, you can keep them. They last for as long as you want. You can keep them until the next year or whatever you want to do, but they're good for a lot longer than real eggs. What you're going to need is a piece of paper, and you can either freehand draw an oval or have your parents do it for you. You can easily find templates on the internet and print one out, and then you just trace the egg shape onto your piece of paper. I've done 5 here, and you can kind of see where I've already been playing with this technique. All right, this is called resistance painting, and what that means is the paint is going to or the paper with the white crayon on it will resist the paint. It'll slide off and you'll be able to see whatever pattern you draw with the white crayon. Okay, so I've already got a couple. You can see where I've done star shapes and smiley faces. And so after you've traced your egg shape onto the paper, take a white crayon, and I think I'm going to do some zigzags. And you'll see I've been very messy. I haven't bothered with staying within the lines because once you cut the eggs out, they'll take on a nice smooth edge, and this is what they look like. Aren't they pretty? Yeah, so don't worry about staying inside the lines when you're painting. You just don't even have to worry about that because you're going to cut all the extra stuff away. All right, so I'm going to draw a zigzag on this egg down here. See, I'm not even messing with the lines, or with the outline of the egg. And then I think I will use orange. All right, dipping my brush into my watercolor. Hopefully you have a tray of watercolors at home. And then I just brush the color over the egg, dipping some more water into my orange. And you see how the lines are coming through? The paint doesn't stick to the crayon, and you have a neat pattern. This is something fun you can do as a surprise. You can write a message on your eggs and ask somebody to add color, and then they can find out what message you wrote. You can say, I love you, or Happy Easter. That would be a fun thing to do with this project. In fact, I think I'll do that on this last one of these 2 remaining eggs. There we go. There's the zigzag. You see it? Isn't that cool how that white crayon does that? All right, let me do one more, and I'm going to write a message. I'm not going to tell you what it is. Okay, I think I will use green for this one. I'm about out of green, so I don't know if I'm going to have enough paint. All right. There's an eye. Oh, what does this say? Can you tell me what that says? Love. You. I think I may just save this egg for my parents. You're never too old to say I love you to your mom and dad. Never, never, never. Look at that, and see what a fun surprise that would be. So you can kind of make it a little magic greeting card for somebody. You can give it to them on Sunday. You can tuck it into their Easter basket and tell them you've got to add color if you want to find out what your egg says. All right, let these dry, and then you just take a pair of scissors and you cut around the outline of the egg, and you'll have a neat and tidy egg shape. I'm going to take one that I did previously that's all dry and just cut it out for you. You can do all kinds of patterns, zigzags, dots, flowers, like I said, letters. Your imagination is the limit. You can mix colors. You don't have to just use the ones that are in the watercolor tray just the way they are. You can mix them together and create some extra colors. There's that striped egg, and you can see I've got a polka dotted egg and one with little flowers. So you can just, and the watercolor looks like the pastel dyes that you use whenever you actually dye real eggs. So they're very pretty. You can make a basket out of brown construction paper and tuck these in, and you can keep them the rest of the spring as some spring decoration for your house because they won't go bad. They won't spoil like those real eggs do. I hope you have fun with this craft. It's very pretty and it's very easy to do. I also hope you have a very happy Easter. I will see you next time.